Babaligani familia Angu. Uh, this is Eli-Ben-Eli. Karibu. Karibu to my home. Karibu to my channel. I was reading the news earlier today, and I just heard something on the news. Apparently, there's flooding going around throughout Kenya and in Somalia, in East Africa. And, it's very, very sad because people are losing their homes, people are losing their crops, their livestock, and some people are even losing their lives. And I can't help it but ask myself something that kind of saddens me. And that is, how many of the people that are attending Marwa's parties have relatives that are at home and are suffering and are, having all kinds of problems because of the flooding? We know that Strongman 254, that his wife got flooded out, that his shop got flooded, and that he lost to an extent, he's lost part of his business, and how important is fame? How important is having a big YouTube channel? These people are willing to sacrifice everything for that, and in the middle of all of this false merriment, it is said that a lot of people in Magori County, Nyabohansted, Kangirosa, the entire area, are suffering from pneumonia, are becoming physically ill, are having all kinds of problems, and yesterday somebody made a comment on my video, and that is that a lot of people are willing to make all kind of sacrifices and are prepared to do all kinds of things to escape poverty. And I understand that. I understand that, and I respect that. You have to respect that. But there also should come a point in which a person says, maybe that price is too high. Fellow the boy has a mason. He calls himself, what do you think? What's a creative name that a mason would call himself? Okay, get ready. He calls himself Joseph. What do you think? Joseph the Mason. How creative. But anyway, I'm repeating a story that I heard secondhand. Fellow the boy was told this story by Mama Maria. Fellow the boy's father died, and apparently the man was very old, 100-something. When his wife went to the burial site, she looked at the burial site, looked at her husband, and very soon after that died. This is a tragic time of the year, it's a tragic time of the year. And in the meantime, people are partying. And I don't know. I wish I could say something about that questioned it, but isn't that the essence of being a human being? We try to find joy in life even though there's a lot of suffering. We try to find joy in life and live life even though there's death. And it's like, on the one hand, I wish somebody would tell Strongman 254, go home and be there for your family. My understanding is that he says the rain has already fallen, the damage has already been done. Yeah, but there's more to it than containing damage. And there's more to it than avoiding rain. There's also comforting your wife and your children when they're scared and they don't have a place to live. I was thinking about something and I came to a realization. If you and I own a piece of property and there are problems with that piece of property, you can be sued and I can be sued. And if you have absolutely no money and a court rules against us, I would be held responsible for 100% of the judgment that's entered against you. Now, my understanding is that Aaron Dante is a very wealthy man, and Marwa pretends that he's a very wealthy man, but in reality, for a very wealthy man, he does a lot of talking about not having enough money to do this, not having enough money to do that. They say that wealth, being a rich man, means never having to worry about how much something costs, before you do it. So I don't think that Marwa is really a rich man, but the point is this. I think that when Aaron Dante was in Kenya and he talked to an attorney, they probably advised him that if Marwa gets sued and Marwa has made him partial owner of that villa by telling him, you own this room, that means that Aaron Dante is liable in part or maybe 100% if there is a lawsuit against Marwa. And think about it. Let's say that you file a lawsuit against Marwa and you understand that Marwa doesn't have any money. But on the other hand, he has somebody who you can consider a partner, Aaron Dante, who's a millionaire or a billionaire, whatever they call him. Who are you going to, and not in Kenyan shillings, who are you going to go after? Okay, the YouTuber who is constantly having to beg for donations, or the American millionaire? That's why I don't think Aaron Dante is ever going to come back to that place. He solicited ownership of a room in that facility. Marwa gave it to him. That makes him a partial owner of that place. And as a partial owner, that makes him liable in case of any kind of a lawsuit. I don't know why the Wango doesn't want to come back. Maybe people are already looking for her to collect on judgments that have been entered against her. But the more that you look at that villa, the Thrilla villa in the Kenyan Manila, the future or the present home. Today is the 19th, so this is the second day that the rumble in the jungle is in effect. The fiesta to end all fiestas, thrown by the King of Kings, the Grand Poobah, the Emperor of Nyako. It's like I look at the whole thing and I say something to myself. I'm fascinated by something. You have to give credit. You have to give credit where credit is due. Marwa is a man who, and he doesn't like to talk about it, but he said it at times. Marwa is a man who is blind in one eye. And yet, say what you will about him, he travels the whole world. And he can only see from one eye. And sometimes people might want to laugh at the poor guy because he wears those sunglasses everywhere that he goes. I think Marwa wears those sunglasses because he only has one working eye. And he's scared of losing that working eye. And he's also ashamed to let people see the eye that looks bad. But, you have to give the guy a lot of credit. And there are a lot of people who have two healthy eyes, a healthy body, a healthy mind. And what do they do with it? They do absolutely nothing. And here is this man going around the world, creating a beautiful home for himself, creating a life for himself. And he's doing it with what? He's doing it with YouTube. There's so many people that one day something that maybe they don't even understand happens, and they discover on YouTube, and they discover that they violated some sort of a community guideline, and the money that they were counting on coming from YouTube is gone, and it takes a lot of courage for someone to do what Marwa is doing. So, Marwa, congratulations. I stand by everything that I say. I think that in the long run, there are going to be a lot of disasters that are going to come because of this party, but I hope that they don't. I hope that everything works out well for you. And having said all of that, I will say this in addition. So long as I'm alive, so long as the Most High God blesses me with life, blesses me with breath, I'm going to speak my mind. And apparently there's some of you who can, I know the kind of people that there are in this world. There are people that cannot wait to bury their mother and father so that they can take the little bit of something that their mother or father might have. And that's really, really sad. It's like all of these comments about, Grandpa, you should be ashamed of yourself talking. Why? Because I disagree with you? Because I say stuff that you don't agree with? Who are you? Who died and left you, God? There are a lot of people that have that attitude, and it's not very rational. It's not well thought out. If you are blessed, if you are blessed, you will live to be an old person. If you are blessed, you will live to be an old person. The alternative is that you die young. And I hope most of you do not die young. I hope, the Bible says something to the effect of, blessed is the man who lives to see his children's children. That means that if you become a grandfather, you are a blessed man. Some of you have called me Grandpa. And you don't know how you honor me when you call me that. The most precious thing in my life is that I have grandchildren. And I got to spend a certain amount of time with two of my grandchildren, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. May you live to be a grandparent. May you live to be honored by being called grandparent or grandfather. May you live to be honored by being an older person. Youth is wasted on the young. And what does that mean? That means that when you're very young, you don't appreciate life. You take it for granted that every single day you're going to be healthy, that you're going to move around, and you just take a lot of stuff for granted. An older person doesn't. So if you think that you're going to embarrass me or whatever by saying, oh, you're an old man, let me tell you something. Being an old man earns me the right to tell you that some of you are wise and some of you are fools. Okay? And I live in America. We have freedom of speech here. I don't need your permission to talk, and you don't need my permission to talk. I can express myself. And even though I don't call myself a reactor, I think that it takes a lot more chutzpah to be a reactor than I have. But I do. If I see something on YouTube and I want to comment on it, I will comment on it. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. I don't need your permission to speak. I don't need your permission to have this channel. Having said that, I want to thank all of the people who have currently subscribed to my channel and are supporting my channel with your comments and your remarks. Thank you so much for that. And I want more of you to do the same. You know, you're welcome to come to my channel, and you're welcome to say whatever you please. You know, you don't, some people say, well, if you come on here, you better be respectful. No insults. Man, I don't care what you say or do. I mean, I care, you know, but not how you think. There are a lot of important things in this world. Some young, ignorant person making insulting remarks is not one of the important things. I don't care about that kind of mess. You know, so I kind of, to tell you the truth, those of you who think that you're saying something to shock or offend me, you amuse me. Please, go right ahead and say it. Doesn't bother me. I have lived what these two old eyes have seen, what these two old ears have heard. I have seen so much. I have heard so much. Nothing is new under the sun. No foolishness that's said to me, okay, hasn't been heard by these ears before. No madness that I see written hasn't been seen by these eyes before. Please feel free to say what you please. You know, it doesn't bother me. What concerns me is knowing that you are thinking, is knowing that you are exercising your right to do what the Most High God says. Come now and let us reason together. So once again, let me ask you, if you haven't liked and subscribed to this channel, support my channel. Okay, support me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm getting closer. It's not very fast, but I'm getting closer, and I'm not doing it by selling out to anybody, but I really appreciate it when you aid your old bald-headed grandpa, Eli-Ben-Eli. Anyway, I'm not going to make this a very long video. I'm kind of a little tired tonight. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you are well. And for God's sakes, if your relatives or your friends have been affected by the flooding or are sick or whatever, be concerned for them, because it could be you that it happens to. May God bless each and every one of you. Have a great weekend.